And good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of BB Nation Radio right here on Backwoods Veterans Media. And I'm sorry to say right out the gate, Miss Queen DP, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works when it comes to the comments. Just saying, but good try. I like your effort. So anyhow, as always, we are broadcasting live from the Cowboy Technology Studios here at the end of the Oregon Trail here in beautiful Oregon City, Oregon. And as always, with me are my co-hosts. Well, first off, we have Miss Mariah, a.k.a. the sexy girlfriend.
Oh, sexy girlfriend!
Oh, girl, you're so basic. They say you're basic, they say you're easy.
And speaking of basic, particularly when it comes to the Central Oregon bro himself, Mr. John Toll the Dapper Sapper, our outdoor host and expert, he is out this week. So, excuse me. No, it's not the Rona, so don't even think that, guys. Yeah, you can say that now. So, anyhow, and working behind the scenes, as always, is our producer, the man, the myth, the legend, the high-tech redneck himself, good old Josh. And helping him out once again is our outstanding intern, as you folks like to call him, good old Ray Dub.
Don't fuck it up, Randy.
That's right. So please remember to share our page and our channel here at Backwoods Veterans Media with all your friends, families, groups, wherever you guys may be hanging out on social media. And be sure to check out our homepage over there at backwoodsvets.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. Be sure you hit the little, or actually, yeah, it's over this way. Be sure you hit the subscribe button and then slide over this way, hit the little bell so that we know when we come up with new content and go live here on BB Nation Radio. Right quick, want to give a big shout out and a thank you to our friends and sponsors up at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com for all your shooting, reloading, and tactical needs, whatever it may be, whether shopping in store up out of Sandy, Oregon, or shopping online. Be sure to hit up our friends up at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. We have one single event coming up on the calendar, and that is this coming Saturday.
6 days away.
Yes, it is coming up. On June 27th, we will be doing the live drawing for that beautiful M5E1 AR-10 308 rifle that we have been pimping out for the last, 2-3 months now. We've been talking about it as far as...
You'll get to use them.
So, yes, we will be raffling that off live right here on our YouTube channel as well as over on Facebook Live from our Facebook page. We will have that going. Yes.
If you haven't bought a ticket, there's no chance to win. So buy your tickets.
I was getting there, as you can see. Yeah.
I'll let you tell them how much they are.
Anyhow, so again, the drawing is live. We do still have tickets available for that. Those are $15 a piece, and you can get those over at ericsarmory.com. And a big shout out and thank you to them for helping us get this thing put together, doing the proof shoot for it to make sure that everything's in working order and dialed in like it should be. I promise you, whoever wins this rifle is going to love this. So it's proceeds from the raffle are going to help out our friends over at the Fallen Outdoors. outstanding organization. Be sure to check those guys out over their website of thefallenoutdoors.com. Or you can look up their Facebook page over there at facebook.com/thefallenoutdoors. So with that being said, yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into things. So Mariah, how are you? How was your week?
Pretty boring.
Okay.
Honestly, there's not much that went on for me this week. My parents were out of town this weekend, so I took care of the animals. And Friday night, I reorganized and cleaned the tack room at the barn where I had the horse boarded.
While listening
So-
to Friday Night Debauchery?
No.
Oh.
Unfortunately, my phone was going dead and I didn't take my
Shame,
charger.
for shame.
And thank you to Ray for all of his help with that because he got to make fun of me for my height because I had to use a stool. And he's like, here, you want me to do that? Dunk! And he reaches right up and hits it.
That's how it
So,
goes.
Other than that, I didn't do a whole lot, but I was glad to get the tack room reorganized and cleaned.
Very cool, very cool. And before we get much further into things, I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody out there, to all the dads out there making things happen.
We prefer Happy Mother Effers Day.
Yeah, that too. Well, I'm trying to use the more correct, polite term, I should say.
Mother Mgays Day.
Yeah, guys day. So anyhow, high tech. What's new? What's happening with you, brother?
Well, not a whole hell of a lot of exciting stuff really going down this week. Let's see, did pop over there to your place on Monday
Yes.
and help Mom out with her pewter. So got her all taken care of and all that, and all set up there. Let's see, later in the week we had a few nice days of weather there, so went ahead and did some yard work outside, cleaned up the side of the house, and trimmed all the hedge bushes.
I saw
and all
that.
kind of
That
stuff.
actually looks really good out there.
Yep, my daughter helped me out cleaning it up Friday night.
Very
so-
nice. Yes.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat. Let's see. Then yesterday I actually worked on cleaning up the garage. So you actually don't have to like try to slide sideways through stuff or anything. So
Right.
and you can actually get to the workbench.
Hey-o.
And funny enough, I sent you a picture of it. But
Yes, you did.
I actually ended up finding the original SolarCon CB antenna mounts that I had from that antenna from way back in the day.
Yeah,
So,
the one that wound up getting broken at my house in Astoria
Yep.
in that December 2007 storm.
Yep. So it turned out I ended up still having the original mounts for that. So that was kind of cool to find a little.
Yeah, you're just
we'll
sending
call
me
it a
the
little
picture like, hey,
piece of
dude, look at
history.
this.
Yeah. And found a few different things and got rid of a bunch of trash and everything. And I was doing that mostly to avoid the fact that my daughter had a boy over.
I heard about
I'm surprised
that.
you didn't put him to work.
And I didn't. Yeah, a nice kid, but just the
Of course.
the dad thing.
Naturally.
I almost called you to be here.
Oh,
So-
Dude, it would have been a
good, huh?
total bad boy scene.
I know. So here's the funny part. So
I'm going back to prison. Chitty bang.
after we went and we did the proof shoot, I had shot my AR and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't got around to cleaning it. So I was like, hey, it's a perfect morning. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the rifle.
Perfect.
Except that I finished cleaning the rifle before he got here. Like
Aw.
right before
You
he got
know
here.
what? That's okay. A little extra oil and never hurt anything. Just saying.
So, yeah, did that. Then went over to folks' place today and helped Dad out with some cabling he was trying to do, and he
Very cool.
cut the wrong cable, so I was able to get a new end on there for him, get her all set up, taken care of. So, yeah, it was a good, productive day, and yeah, that's about it. How about you, brother?
Right on, man. Well, before we get to me, actually, I get to one other person because he is here. He is part of the crew. So we got to let old Randy Ray freaking do his chime in. How was your week, bud? What's going on with you?
This looks so bad from my angle, just saying.
No.
I'd rather you not do that.
Yes, I would rather you not do that as well.
But on to the more pressing issue. My week was all right. It was a pretty standard week, just working and just being around the house and having a good time.
How's your streaming been going?
It's been going all right. It's been on and off. Just kind of it's actually slowed down a little bit now that I'm working a little bit more. But that was expected. So it's going great.
Gotcha. And you got your first paychecks this week.
Yes, I
Woo! Good job.
did. Yes, I did. That was very nice.
Yes.
And did you pay your taxes?
Yeah.
Of course.
The correct answer would be yes.
Yes.
All right. So, no, mine was all right. You know, nothing too wild and crazy. Just another week at Shawshank. I mean, at work and, you know, just doing the other shows and getting things ready to go. I actually had Carl on the program here on Friday night. So,
Who?
Carl.
Do I know him?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that Carl. So, yes, it was actually pretty cool having him on the show.
And you still have your hands, so you must have not been too hungry.
No, I kept him occupied with whiskey. Yeah, that usually helps. So, and I think he was too busy trying to chow down on the little bannering that was going back and forth. It was a hostile work environment in there on Friday night, man. Especially in the comments section over there on the Spreaker app for FND. Because I tell you what, between him and Pete, and then Matt trying to chime in, and I'm bannering back and forth with him, dude, it was ugly. It was ugly in the comments that night, so it was a good time. But other than that, nope, just another fun week. We actually got stuff ready to go for the show early this week, which I know you were like all sorts of giddy about last night. You're just like, yes, I'm not having to freaking chase stuff down this week. It's awesome. So had to do a little bit of a last second scrimmage because John had to step out this week. So, but that's all right. I'm sure he'll be back when we come back after the 4th of July. So anyhow, with that being said, we got a lot of folks checking in the comments. So who do we got there, High Tech?
Alrighty, let's see here. Scrolling up through, we've got Miss Stephanie DeMars, who was number one uno there on the chat list. So
Very nice.
congratulations for being number one. And right next to her, right underneath, playing bottom, is Queen DP. We have the Harambe keeper, Mickey Severson, thinking he was first, but he was actually third.
Right.
And Mr. Matt Crosby checking in from Florida.
Hi-oh.
And Mr. Of course, Pete Sachs, Mr. G.I. Low out of Arizona down there checking
Very
in
nice.
as well. So, yeah, good. And Jade. I can't forget about Jade Lopez
Oh, no.
from the bar. And
Her and her massive rack.
yes,
From
her and
camping
her
season.
massive rack. Absolutely. And I was helping her hold her rack up. So
Yeah, I saw that because
Yeah.
you're just like, my, those look heavy. Allow me to help you with that.
she appreciated the help, too.
Oh, I'm sure she probably did.
Yeah, she did.
You know, when you have a rack as big as that, sometimes you require help. I'm just saying. And Mariah's over here like, oh my God, I'm just not saying a word. And you witnessed it too.
No, the weird part is I was walking out of the trailer when it happened.
And while you were witnessing
I was like-
High Tech handling Jade's rack.
I don't know what's going on. Okay, whatever.
But yes, it was beautiful. Whoa. Mr. Mars, really? Who told you I like the top, High Tech? Damn.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
escalated quickly.
Yeah, it was an educated guess.
Just saying. Oh my Lord, it's getting deep already. Anyhow, it is 1:15, and you know what time that is. Hit it, good sir.
How about that way?
There you go. This outdoor segment is brought to you in part by Eric's Armory. And now, for your outdoor segment host,
Here's Johnny. How neat is that? That's pretty neat.
oh no, we're looking low for John.
I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Oh,
guess-
wait,
I guess
that's
you have
right.
to
Yeah,
take it.
I guess we got to take it this week. So, anyhow, these articles come to us from our friends over at Field and Stream magazine. And, you know, summer's upon us now, since it is now officially started. And what is one of the big activities when it comes to summertime?
Staying inside and playing video games?
Only if you're Ray.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Getting outside, enjoying the nice weather.
That's part of it.
Camping.
Kinda goes along with it.
Catching dinner.
There you go. Now you're getting somewhere.
Okay, maybe going fishing.
There we go. Doing a little bit of fishing. So this week's article talks about the 6 best western trout rivers to fish during the salmon fly hatch. And I tell you what, this is some of the what? What are you giggling about over there?
Jade just said, y'all mentioned my rack and the oldest calls interrupting the show.
Mom, what really happened while you were gone? Oh, if you only knew, child. If you only knew. Anyhow, moving right along. So, number 1 on this list is Henry's Fork of the Snake River out of Idaho. Henry's Fork is one of the first rivers to swarm with salmon flies, with peak emergence on the rough and tumble Box Canyon stretch, often concluding with Memorial Day weekend. If you're looking for trout measured in pounds, this is the place to be. I prefer to fish the canyon on foot because there's little time to thoroughly fish the pocket water from a boat. But waiting here is not for the faint of heart unless you're willing to chase a big trout downriver by scrambling along the boulder-choked banks. You probably won't land them. So, in other words, yeah, it's rough and tumble down through there. Number 2, Ray, this one's probably going to be near and dear to your heart. Or at least there's actually a couple on this one, on this list that'll be that way for you. But this next one is actually Rock Creek out of Montana. It's the smallest of the salmon fly rivers with bugs that rival hummingbirds in size. The hatch progresses from the mouth where Rock Creek empties into the Clark's Fork River up through a wilderness section paralleled by a potholed gravel road. It takes an alert oarsman to negotiate Rock Creek's tight turns and stream hazards, which include fallen trees that can dam the river from bank to bank.
Hey.
Yeah. The trout are on the smaller side, but there are plenty of them. Next one is number 3 is Big Hole River out of Montana. Salmon fly hatch flashes like lightning up this river, all the way from Browns Bridge to Wise River and beyond. More than other streams, the Big Hole breaks the rules, with emergencies popping up here and there. Instead of progressing upstream in orderly fashion, visitors need to be aware that the 2 most popular floats, from Wise River to Divide and from Divide to Melrose, are closed to floating by out-of-staters and guides on alternating weekend days. So, and some of the pictures it shows in here, good God, look at the size.
That's disgusting looking.
That aphid, wow, that thing is huge. So, next one is, I'm noticing a trend here. Apparently, this guy likes the state of Montana. So, this one, it's Madison River, again, out of Montana. The first salmon flies show up in the Bear Trap Canyon, a primitive hike in area on the lower river. Floaters take their turn up the 440-mile section from West Fork to Enos. Last year's hatch was remarkable, with salmon flies trickling off over a 6-week period. And then number 5 is Yellowstone River between Montana and Wyoming. Salmon flies emerge over a 100-mile stretch of the Yellowstone and below Livingston, all the way up to Black's Canyon inside Yellowstone National Park. Compared to most rivers, the progression of the flies is fairly predictable, but water conditions aren't. During high runoff years, the river can be too muddy to fish until after the 4th of July. And finally, coming in at number 6, South Fork of the Snake River, there in Idaho. The South Fork is the last stop on the salmon fly circuit, and its fish, a healthy mix of cutthroat, brown, and rainbow trout, are often the most cooperative. Like the Yellowstone, this is big water, best fish from a boat. Unlike the Yellowstone, it can usually be counted on to run clear. The canyon stretch from Conant Valley to Burns Creek offers spectacular scenery, along with the chance to take trout that push 10 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, those are some
That's big for trout.
huge fish. Ray's over here like, God bless it. Can you? Yeah, that's like going to Cabela's and trying to yank out some of their friggin' big trout that they got in the tank there. What was that?
Was he trying to like throw the trout out of the tank, or?
I'm not
I don't
sure
know
what he's doing. I wish he was on
He's doing
camera.
like, I know, right? It's almost like Jeff Foxworthy talking about fishing with freaking a G-string on. Just cast and tug, cast and seem like every time he casts, just cut you right in two.
See, and I thought maybe he was just fishing for dorkfish.
Caught him on a corn dog. But anyhow, so no, the thing about it too is it also talks how to fish for trout during a salmon fly hatch. To avoid the quote-unquote aluminum hatch, the local euphemism for the parade of drift boats that compete for the attention of trout during salmon fly season, try starting early around 6 a.m. The fish will have had the night to digest their meals, and your fly will be the first artificial they see. Salmon fly fishing is quote unquote hunting. What you're searching, well, duh, it's like, if it was 100%, they would call it catching and not fishing. What you're searching for is a stretch of river where just enough flies have fluttered to the surface to stimulate the trout, but not so many to satiate them. Excuse me. If you're catching nothing but whitefish, whose small mouths prevent overindulgence, you're probably too far downriver.
Juggle the nuggets.
Anyhow, how a fly rides is more important than the pattern. Occasionally, fish like a high floater, but... Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?
But most often they want the fly flushed in the surface, with its body partly submerged. To offer a choice, veteran salmon fly addicts fish two flies, changing pattern, size, color. Trout often take a black fly over one of the same hue as the naturals and degree of flotation until they find what the fish want. Trout make a lot of commotion rising the salmon flies. Wait half a beat before striking, or you'll pull the fly away from them. Try a salmon fly imitation 4 or 5 days behind the hatch. After the trout have regained their appetites, you'll avoid the crowds, and the fish will have an eye toward the surface for the big bugs. Once again, end of article. So, for you fly fishermen out there, there's some actually really good tips in there, and some very, very nice fishing streams. I know a lot of our viewers are up here in Oregon and stuff. Some big spots to hit, especially during the fly fishing season. I know downstream of the Deschutes, when you're down there just south of the Warm Springs area, there's a big stretch through there that's very popular. I know Moppin area is a big one when the rafters aren't bowling through there during the summertime. Usually during mid to late spring, that's a good area to go hit up as well. The John Day offers a lot of opportunities. Even down here on the Willamette, there's quite a few places to go up there.
Lots of three-eyed fish.
Well, it depends on where you're at on the Willamette too.
If you're down there in that place that has all the riots and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Havana on the Willamette? Yeah, exactly. Pretty much anywhere upstream from Willamette Falls, yeah. You got a lot of places where, fly fishing is actually pretty good. Even the Tualatin here locally is a good one to go, fishing at. I mean, not so much as in the way of trout, but you'll actually catch a lot of, bass, bluegill, crappie, stuff like that. You'll get into a lot of places where you can get into them there. So, it's places like that and tips like this, it's funny because when you're talking about with fly fishing, it's not always about the pattern. It's about the placement. It's about where you're at, things of that nature. I know, Josh, you've been trying to get into fly fishing for a while when you don't have a broken tip.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, I started just barely getting into it. Actually, I was just talking with my good buddy Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me up today, and we were just talking about he actually hasn't been out fishing since his dad passed about a year ago.
Oh, really?
And so I, and I haven't really seen him too much either. So I was like, maybe we need to, get the pontoons out and get out there and go do something here one
Why
of these
not?
quick weekends. So
Might as well.
Yep. So hopefully we'll hook that up pretty soon and get that done.
Exactly. Ray, did you ever get a chance to do any fly fishing up there, up in Montana?
Not too much, but just a little bit.
Yeah. How was it? Because I mean, like I said, a lot of these places that a lot of guys like to take people when it comes to doing this type of fishing. Montana is a huge hot spot.
Oh, definitely. That's probably why I got more into fishing than I did hunting, honestly. But no, I did a little bit, and it's fun. It is fun. I just never went out too often with the right people to do it enough.
Gotcha. Well, we'll have to fix that. Most definitely. We'll have
Definitely.
to talk to Jesse over there at the Fallen Outdoors, because, I mean, it's not just veterans they take care of. They take care of family members, too. And maybe we can try and get something hooked up over there. So, anyhow, so that is that article. Now for the big one. And another thing that's coming up here soon later on this summer, particularly late summer, early fall, is bow season, especially out here in the Pacific Northwest. I know a lot of our viewers do a lot of bow hunting. So, and right now is a time to start gearing up if you have not done so. And I know Miss Mariah, this is something kind of up your alley too, because you've developed quite the interest in starting to go bow hunting and everything else too.
I want to, but
Well, you got a bow, you just got to get the work done to it.
yeah.
And this is an article you may want to pay attention to as well as we go through it. So this one is actually the best new broadheads of 2020. And the folks over at Field and Stream, they shot a mix of, 20 different types, all the way from doing, mechanical to fixed to even crossbow. Now, unfortunately, here in Oregon, we can't use a crossbow for hunting, but I know in a lot of the other parts of the country you can.
What if you just say you're protesting?
Yeah, right. Let me know how that
It
works
seems
out with
like-
Fish and Wildlife, okay?
Seems like you can just say you're protesting. You can get away with anything now.
Anyhow,
Cape Brown's Fish and Wildlife, though, so
Yeah,
shouldn't
that's
it be
true.
okay?
One would
Sure.
think. So, I mean,
not?
dude, I will say this. If they ever do legalize hunting with crossbow here in Oregon, I will jump ship over to that quick, fast, in a hurry. Very quick, fast, in a hurry. So, anyhow, so these guys are going ahead and, like I said, they're going through about 20 different types of arrowheads. And they actually were shooting, the folks from Field and Stream actually got donated sides of beef to actually, they set them out at 25 yards and were actually able to do this. So, anyhow, so the test parameters that they used was, they went with a certain weight, like this one you can see up here on the screen, 10.5, what is that? 10.05 or 100.5?
100.5 grams, I believe.
Yeah. So it was pretty stout testing. So anyhow, and you can see on the next one, they actually measure out the damage and stuff in regards to the entryway, bringing on the side of the rib cage. So, and they call this the last phase of the test. Oh yeah, they talk about with who they got it from. They set the beef up at 25 yards, and then they actually set up, as we go through, they actually set up a ranking system of 1 to 5 stars in each category for these arrowheads that we're going to go over. So they have for the mechanical broadheads, they break it down by accuracy, consistency, durability, penetration, sharpness, and reliability.
You're disgusting
What?
when you do that. Penetration.
I don't know what you're talking about. You always want to make sure you get your shank in deep. Just saying. So anyhow, first one that they talk about is the Muzzy shank. Running 4 grains lighter than advertised on average, the shank is something of a classic 2-blade mechanical design sporting Muzzy's proven trocar tip. It wasn't the most innovative mechanical head that they tested, but it was one of the better ones. Flight was perfect, and all the test heads punched through the cattle ribs. 2 of the 6 blades were damaged in the process. The shanks weren't especially sharp and didn't leave gapingly impressive holes. A 0.6 inch entry with 1.1 inch exit on average. But they were solid performers that they couldn't find much fault with. In regards to ranking, it scored a perfect 5 stars. They went from 1 to 5 stars. It was perfect 5 stars on accuracy, 3 stars for consistency, 3 for durability, 3 for penetration, as well as sharpness, and 5 for reliability.
Penetration.
Next one they went with was the NAP DK4. God, that thing just looks savage. So the cutting surface of the DK4 is huge, but the head did not fare well in their test. They're $40 for 3 of them. Most hybrid broadheads combine a pair of fixed blades up front with larger cutting mechanical bleeder blades behind. But this one has a pair of pivoting wide cutting blades up front and smaller swing open mechanical bleeders. The overall cutting surface is huge, but the design unfortunately didn't hold up. Every single blade on the heads or of the heads was broken or bent by the beef ribs. As a result, the exit holes when they got them were smaller than the entry holes. They were also wildest shooting broadheads of the test, with some hitting the same point of impact as my field points, and the next landing 4 inches off. Wow, that's kind of brutal there. So anyhow,
Hey, no, well now these archery hunters know how us rifle hunters feel.
yeah, when it comes to different types of ammunition,
Yeah, well, and we can't reuse our rounds.
Nope.
So just saying.
Yep. Welcome to the club, guys. Next one is called a Rage Hypodermic NC. So this
Whoa.
one goes for $55 for 3. Jesus, some spendy freaking broadheads. The NC for no collar version of Rage's wildly popular hypodermic uses small tabs to hold the slip cam blades in place, which a lot of hunters prefer. But across the board, the test's most expensive heads didn't fare particularly well. Price does not always make might. Go figure. They did punch the huge holes Rage is known for with 1.3-inch entries and 2.2-inch exits. Jesus! But that was only when I could get them to punch through the beef ribs at all. Of the 3 that they shot into the ribs, only 1 passed all the way through and into the target that they had set behind the beef ribs.
Wow.
And every single blade was ruined or broken. One of them center rib broke and didn't penetrate beyond the ferrule. That aside, they ran nearly 4 grains heavy on average and hit 2 inches high from the field points. Wow. For such a brutal looking blade, for such a brutal broadhead, yeah, doesn't seem like it would be worth the $55.
I had no idea these kind of things were even out there.
Oh yeah,
That's how out of touch with archery I am, because
Yeah, it's
again,
super-
I'm a rifle.
Oh yeah, I hear
give me
you.
powder, baby.
They have some pretty wicked ones out there. That's for
Oh,
sure.
there are, and the only crap thing about it is that mechanicals you can't use in Oregon,
Nope.
unfortunately.
Probably why I've never seen them.
I think very well could be. Next one is a Ramcat Cage Ripper, and this set actually goes for $45 for 3. The Cage Ripper is an interesting 2-blade design with a plunger-style deployment in which the tip compresses to release a spring and then the blades. And it was among the more rugged mechanical tested. The blades were a little tricky to lock into place, but seemed secure once there. They punched the ribs without the issue, leaving a 1-inch entry hole and 1.5-inch exits. Though some blades were destroyed in the process, they were one of the few mechanical heads that didn't shoot perfectly straight, however, averaging more than 3 inches off the field tip's point of impact.
Myrna, I agree with you. I like
What's
rifle
that?
hunting better as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next one is the Sever 1.5. The Sever 1.5s go for, they showed excellent penetration and accuracy, $14 each. So that's actually not too bad compared to some of the other ones. So you figure that's what, 28,
42 for 3.
Yeah, 42 for 3. Yeah, we're already here.
We're tracking. We're tracking.
Anyhow, this rear deploying titanium head is unique in that the blades, once open, lock together and pivot with the ferrule, theoretically steering around heavy bone and aiding penetration. Looking at the beef ribs, it seemed to work since all these heads punch right through with only slight marring to a couple blades. They left a 0.7-inch entry hole and a 1.3-inch exit wound.
Wow.
They ran a little light, but they hit exactly where the field points did. The blades can be locked into place for practice too, which is a feature that they really like. These broadheads are sold individually, which is more of an aggravation than anything. Yeah, it's an opinion piece, but we're not going to go there. But they're priced with the competition. Next one is a SICK SK2. This one's kind of a crazy looking one, especially with the bands on there, or at least they look like bands. And these guys are $50 for 3. And this newcomer was the best mechanical broadhead to the test. Weight-wise, they were the more consistent. They were also sharp, hit exactly where they were supposed to, and they punched right through the calibs virtually unscathed. Aside from some minor nicks to the blade edges, best of all, they left 2-inch holes on both the entry and exit sides. Wow, that's massive. No other mechanical that they tested could claim that. The only complaint is that the plastic one-time use blade retainers called flight lock clips are a hassle to put into place, but once the blades are secure, they seem to stay there. Each package comes with extra retainers as well. So, and then we're going on to the Schwacker Levi Morgan series. And these go for 45 for 3. These swing open mechanicals flew perfectly despite 3 grains difference between the heaviest and the lightest in the package, and they punched right through the beef ribs. The arch blades were pretty sharp, leaving 1-inch entry holes and a 1.7-inch exits. And they were held into place with the old school rubber bands. All of the blades did show heavy damage on the other side of the beef, and a few broke. But by then, your critter is already dead. If you're after mechanical with a larger cutting diameter that penetrates reliably and flies well, this is a good choice. So that wraps up the mechanical series for, doing your standard compound and recurve or whatnot. So next set is the fixed blade, and the one that made the top of this list was the next one we're going to be talking about, and that is the Montech M3, and that one actually had 4 stars in accuracy and consistency, 5 on durability, penetration, and sharpness. So that's pretty top notch there. And these guys actually go as well for 45 for $3, or $45 for 3. Excuse me, 45 heads for $3. Yes, and they're rated that good.
Yes,
exactly. So anyhow, so the author bought a 3-pack of the original Montex a decade ago and shot them through a pile of whitetails, pigs, turkeys, and antelope, and mule deer. Still has 2 of them. My only complaint was that they were too dull to hunt with out of the box and needed sharpening. The new M3 versions fix that. These are scary to touch and non-vented for a supposedly quieter flight. They were predictably unscathed after punching right through the cattle ribs too. The only problem was that they consistently hit about 1 inch off from the field points, but that's an easy fix with a little broadhead tuning. Very well could be. Next on this list is the Muzzy 1. And these run for $45 $45 for 3. Another one-piece cut-on contact design. These were consistently about a grain heavy, and they hit perfectly right alongside the field points. No surprise, they punched right through the cow's ribs with no issue. The only complaint was that they did seem to be the dullest out of the package fixed blades that they tested. The angle and design is one that should allow for easy sharpening on a flat stone, though. All in all, a very good and reliable broadhead. Next one is the Ramcat Diamondback. That one looks pretty gnarly right there. That'll definitely do a job. And these guys go for $40 for 3. And these broadheads ran about 3.5 grains light and were a little inconsistent on target, with groups averaging from 1 to 2 inches from the field tip's point of impact. But they were very sharp, and they punched right through the cow ribs like they were paper, with no notable damage to the blades beyond a few nicks on the edges and nothing on the ferrules. On the range, one minor problem is that the spiral blade design makes the broadheads tough to pull from a foam target, but it's hard to fault the head for that, since it is part of the design and probably does help with penetration on critters. Next one is called the Rocket Psycho.
Myrna says that the AR-10 that's being raffled off would be much easier than all these bows and everything.
That is very true. That is very, very true. So now we have the Rocket Psycho, and these guys go for $35 for 3 of them.
Wasn't that one of your ex-wives' names?
I'm not going there. Anyhow, this is a compact, fairly sharp broadhead that weighed out consistently. It was also the least expensive fixed blade broadhead in the test. Unfortunately, spending the extra $5 on something else. The Psycho was the only fixed blade broadhead that was tested to be destroyed by the cattle ribs. All 3 heads punched through, but 2 of the 3 had broken blades, and they hit about 2 inches off from field points on average. And then moving on, we have the SICK F4 is the next one. These guys also run for $40 for 3. This big cut-on contact model with bleeder blades brought back fond memories of the old school bear razor heads. That's fitting given the SICK is the new broadhead company owned by Escalade Sports, the parent group of Bear Archery. Weight-wise, these were a little inconsistent across the board. 4 grains separated the heaviest from the lightest in one package, but you can't complain about anything else. But they hit exactly where the field points did. Plus, they were sharp out of the package and blew right through the cowl ribs, leaving one hell of a hole behind. Next one the last one on this list for the fixed broadheads is the Wasp Havalon HV125. And that thing just looks gnarly. I love the look of that arrowhead. But that's just me. So anyhow, these guys go $45 for three. And this one says all three heads weighed within a grain of the advertised 125 weight. They were super sharp as the blades are made by Havalon, the popular knife brand, and they hit exactly where the 125 grain field tips hit. They punched right through the cowl ribs and and to look at them afterward, they seemed untouched and as sharp as ever. Plus, each package of 3 comes with 6 replacement blades, making these a great value to shoot. These are on the short list of broadheads that you would want to hunt with this fall. So there's that for the standard broadheads. And now we go into the crossbow broadheads. And topping the list at this one is the Montec Expo with 5 stars for accuracy, durability, penetration, and sharpness. And consistency had a 4-star rating.
Sorry, what category is this?
This is a crossbow broadhead.
Okay, just checking.
Yes. Did I not say that before?
No, you probably did. I think I missed it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So anyhow, moving on, we have the G5 Montec M3 crossbow. And there's a difference between these and the standard Montec M3s. Couldn't find it. Oh yeah, the author couldn't find it, but there was some differences in performance when launched from a crossbow. To recap, the M3s are sharp, non-vented, and they punch right through the beef ribs unscathed. Interestingly, at higher speeds and at 45 yards, the point of impact for these was exactly the same as with field points, which is one area where these broadheads lost minor ground in the fixed blade test. The lesson: shoot any broadhead you get through your particular bow or crossbow to make sure it hits where you're aiming. Then you have the Muzzy 1 crossbow. And these guys go $45 for 3. As with the Montec M3, couldn't tell any difference between this head and the one I tested for the fixed blade test aside from the crossbow packaging. These two were a little dull out the package, though they can be sharpened. They also had some inconsistencies with 2 grains separating the lightest from the heaviest in the same pack of 3. They punched through cowl ribs no problem, and they expected them to be accurate since they shot very well out of the vertical bow. Unfortunately, they seem to drift at crossbow speeds with the point of impact at 45 yards consistently 3 inches off from the field points. Next, we have the Rage Extreme NC crossbow. The giant blades on this mechanical edge are enough to grab any crossbow's attention or crossbow hunter's attention. Just make sure they'll work with your crossbow. They were just fine on the Excalibur, and they used for most of this test. But just for giggles, they tried them in a Raven R29X. The rear swept blades kept the bolt from being seated properly, unless the threads were aligned just right to keep the blades perpendicular with the bow.
Miss Terrell.
Hi, Terrell. These broadheads did fly perfectly with the field points, and they were sharp, but they were no match for the beef ribs. They punched through, but blades sheared off all of them. The best performance that they saw was a 2-inch entry, but a 0.8-inch exit.
Call!
Hello, good sir. Glad to see you jumping in there. Dean Cerny. I hate mechanicals, right? And next one is the Rocket Siphon XB. These guys go $45 for 3. This one is a standard swing open 3-blade mechanical design with a chisel point and a flat washer to secure it to the bolt. The blades seem to click securely into place. The Siphon XB ran 2 grains heavy on average, flew just like a field point, was sharp, and generally seemed to do what it was supposed to, leaving 1-inch entry holes and 1.5-inch exits on the beef ribs. One blade broke and others bent, but overall this is among the more durable mechanical crossbow heads tested. And then we only got 2 more to get through. Next one is the SICK S03E19. This thing just looks gnarly.
Wow.
I want to know where these guys are coming from for the designs for this. So anyhow, these guys go 45 for 3. It's a compact, rugged 3-blade broadhead with flat cutting surfaces up front that help punch a hell of a hole through the ribs. If the broadheads were at all damaged by the heavy bone, couldn't tell. They weighed out consistently, running less than a grain heavy on average, but they unfortunately hit further off the point of impact from the field tips, 3 inches plus at 45 yards than any other head that was tested from a crossbow. Next one is the SICK SK2 CB. This one looks kind of familiar.
Similar.
Yes, very similar to one we reviewed here a little bit ago.
Except it has like a black top instead of a red top.
Exactly. And these guys go for $50 for 3. As with the standard version, these big 2-blade mechanical uses a small plastic flight lock blade retaining clip that is a hassle to deal with. But the complaint stopped there. Couldn't tell any difference between the crossbow and standard version of this broadhead aside from the clips for the crossbow head are black and assuming a bit stronger. It flew perfectly with razor sharp and punched 2-inch holes on both sides of the beef ribs. It was the only mechanical to survive that portion of the crossbow test and gets a nod as a favorite. Next one is a Slick Trick Raptor Trick X. This thing looks kind of crazy. So, and this guy goes $48 for 3. And these mechanicals are sharp with a compact profile, and they hit exactly like the field points. Unfortunately, their terminal performance left too much to be desired. When they could get the blade to open on the beef ribs, it broke almost immediately. On one of the heads that was shot through the ribs, the blades bent inside the ferrule without deploying, and they couldn't pry them open. Though they did penetrate fine, they left a half-inch entry and exit holes, basically the size of the in-flight profile. And that's certainly not what you hope to see when choosing mechanical for your crossbows. And that is the end of it. So that is this year's top 20 broadheads, according to our friends over at Field and Stream. Your guys' thoughts?
It's a lot of different ones to choose from.
So okay, let's just go back here real quick. So, okay. So there was that one that is mysteriously looks like. Come on. A lot of pictures here.
We'll get there eventually.
We're getting there.
There.
That one.
Yes.
Like, I don't really see a whole lot of difference. And then
They even say in the article that there's really not much of a difference. It's just those ones actually have the red clip for the vertical for a standard compound bow. Then you got the black tips ones that are for the crossbow.
Okay. Then you've got this one here. Okay.
The M3,
this is the M3.
Yes.
Now, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. One's for the crossbow and one's for...
Hold on a second. What is the difference?
Probably the weight. I don't know.
I was going to say weight-wise.
The weight of the...
Weight and size dimensions.
Yeah, I'm just saying. There is not much difference in a lot of these things.
No,
there's not.
There's a lot of different weights in the heads of them, though. So each head has a different weight, depending on which one you go with.
Exactly. So, Mariah, you have any thoughts? Any of these that really stand out to you that you'd be interested in trying out?
No, because that's too expensive for me when I'm just trying to get into it.
Well, you're going to have to start somewhere. So you might as well start with something good, right?
And watch me break the arrows and everything.
Well, that's where you get the field tips for.
Yeah.
You get the weighted field tips, so that way you're using the same amount of weight on the end of your shaft for your arrow than what you would be, you're not actually using the tips themselves. You save those for when you actually go out. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I understand.
Okay.
I have to look into it more because I don't... There's so
just from listening to the article.
There's so many different variations and everything in these that it's almost overwhelming for me when I'm just starting to get into it a little bit.
Hey, if you put off doing your hair on Wednesday, you could afford to buy some of these tips.
Oh!
Yeah, I could.
Oh!
Just saying.
But I may have to work Wednesday instead now. So we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see about that one here in a little while. So, all right. And again, a big shout out to our outdoor sponsor of Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. Again, head over to their website. Be sure to get your rifle raffle tickets that we're going to be raffling off here on this coming Saturday, June 27th. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss out. We'll be doing that drawing right here on our YouTube channel as well as from our Facebook page. So watch for that. And yeah, whatever else you're needing, go to Eric's. You won't be disappointed. And if you decide that you want to buy a firearm through them, hey, guess what? They do ship to your nearest FFL. So keep that in mind if you see something on their page that you want to get. And if they don't have it in stock, I'm pretty sure they can get it ordered for you and get it to you. So one way or another, they will make it happen. So, all right. Well, with that being said, that wraps up the outdoor segment here on BB Nation Radio. And we're going to go ahead and move into our next portion known as Pop's Takes. Hit it, good sir.
Takes are scorching hot. Now, get ready for some raw,
You want it raw?
gritty, and unfiltered takes from the old man, Don himself.
She can't say the truth because it does makes her look like an idiot. Because that's what she is.
These are Pop's Takes, right here on BB Nation Radio.
Bullshit.
Old man, welcome back.
Hey.
As always,
Good to see
cheers
you
to you.
again.
Likewise. All right, so this week, because of the fact that it is Father's Day today, first off, wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you.
So,
Same to you.
well, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. And because it's today being Father's Day, we're gonna skip out on the politics and everything else. And
Oh, you've ruined me.
no,
You just killed me already.
but you know what? No, it's good though, because you know what? Sometimes it's good to change it up and get away from some of that stuff. So, and especially on, a holiday like this and everything. So, my question to you for your take this week is, what is your favorite memory with your dad?
My favorite memory was my dad.
Yes.
I think, well, that's a whole lot of them. Fishing and all that kind of stuff. My dad was quite a fisherman.
Right.
But I think I remember one time we were up elk hunting.
Okay.
And everybody had gone. It was rainy days and all that. So last day or so, the only ones left in camp up there at the valley was Dad and I.
Okay.
And we spent some time together there, and I put him on a stand, and I remember him coming back after, later in the morning after he got done, and he's almost shaking.
Really?
And I said, Dad, what's going on? He says, you won't believe what I saw. And I said, what'd you see? And he says, you've told me about the gray ghost. Now, I tell you what, this guy was probably 10 years old by now, by the time that Dad saw him.
Yeah.
And he had antlers that went all the way back over the top of his ass.
Oh, wow.
He was probably 8, 9, 10 points on each side.
Jesus.
Nobody,
It's a monster.
Nobody would shoot him after he got that big because they said everybody wanted him to stay there and breed and
Keep the genetics going.
Keep those genetics going because they were fantastic.
Right.
But that elk was so gray that his face and his head and everything looked like it was white.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's how old the animal was. And Dad saw him, and he says, I had a dead shot at him. He says, I could have taken him, but he says, I just couldn't do it. And I says, Dad, thank you. I says, I've seen him several times and over the years.
Right.
And I'm just not going to drop that animal because it's too good. He's putting too many good babies on the ground, and we want to keep seeing it.
Yeah.
And Dad says, son, I'm proud to be your dad. He says, you are the kind of person that I would like to have around me. He says, you're not just somebody who goes out there and tries to kill an animal for nothing. He says, you're going out and hunting, and you select and you do what's good for your family for eating and what's good for the wildlife out here in the woods. And I said, well, Dad, that's the way you brought me up.
Yeah.
And, I remember when I was a kid, probably 12, 13 years old, made my own bow and arrow And my buddy up the road from us, he had one too. And we used to go out and hunt rabbits like that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, and bring them home. And we'd get rabbits and bring them home. And Mom would, Dad would dress them out, and Mom would fix them for us. And my dad was special.
Yeah, he was.
And it was really sad, but he got to the point where he just,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. He was a special man, and he loved his wife, his family, and he loved people.
Yeah.
He was a man.
Yeah.
And he started out when we moved out here, he had been he was a farmer during the World War One or two, I mean.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him join the service because he was
a farmer.
Yeah, he was a farmer. He was raising crops for the
war effort and everything
for all
else.
That. But then after the war and all that was done, and I think it was like 45.
Was when the war ended.
That was right after the war ended in 45. We moved to Colorado. We left the farm and we went to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there at the Colorado Springs, just outside of Colorado, Denver. And he got a job working for Gates Rubber.
Mm-hmm.
He hated it. And he had a cousin out here, Merle Pewterbaugh, which had a place down here and just out of Gladstone.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad and him were conversing back and forth. And he told Dad just come out and we could stay with them.
Right.
And till we got it settled and all. And we got out here, and Dad went to work for a publisher's paper company.
Yep.
And of course they're gone now, but he worked himself all the way up from a beater man, throwing laps and all that into the beaters and stuff.
Right.
From that all the way to the head supervisor of their recycling plant.
Nice.
He.
That was just down here in Oregon City too, right there at the falls.
Yes. And then after he retired, he was a consultant for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of started shutting down all of the place where he was working with the de-inking and all that kind of stuff. And so he just kind of moved away from it. But we were there in Gladstone. My folks bought their house there in 1947.
Yep.
And
it didn't sell till a couple of years ago, shortly after him and Grandma passed.
It was about just right at was it two?
So it was 2014 when Grandma passed.
I think it was 2015 when we finally sold the place.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the heritage and everything that went there.
70 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Hey, now you remind me how old I am.
Well, you got to think the family's been here for 40.
Yeah.
Actually, 40 years now.
Well, yeah, because we moved in
41 here. And it'd be 41 years now because it was 79.
Yeah, it was 79, August of 79 when we moved in here.
Yep.
And except for a short time when the daughter was living here for a while.
Yeah.
And then we come back here.
But the family's been here.
Oh, yeah. This has been the family home for, forever.
Like I said, 41 years. It's a long time.
So...
But no, it's funny because, we talk about favorite memories and things like that. I honestly, because I've always looked to you as my dad.
Yes, of course.
Even though technically you're my grandfather by birth, but by raising, you're my dad, as far as I'm concerned.
I understand that.
And
I think of you as my son, not a grandson.
Oh, I know. And I think my favorite memory has to be when I was about, I want to say I was like 6 or 7, and it was during the summertime, and we were fishing up here at North Fork Reservoir. We had rented a boat, and it was towards the end of the day, and we were actually just trolling back from upstream from the marina, and we were getting ready to go back. Because you're like, yeah, we'll go ahead and do one more pass along this shelf over here, along this cliff face, and then we'll start working our way back. So, okay. And I think we were both using rooster tails, and it was crazy because I remember one of us wound up getting a fish on.
Was that when Uncle Stephen was here?
No.
No.
It was not. This was just you and I out that day. And I wound up hooking into one, and you started to help coach me through it and getting it reeled in. And I think it was like within a couple seconds of me you just got done saying, okay, keep the end of the rod up, and as you bring it down, you reel in, pull up, And as you let it back down, reel back in, I'm like, okay, I'm going with it and everything else like you were telling me. Well, about that time, your line wound up getting hit. You wound up hooking. And the coolest thing about that was I remember both fish at the same time, both of them come jumping up out of the water, and our lines wound up crossing. Yeah. We had to switch real quick in the boat and try to get them both reeled in. And just that feeling in that moment, it was surreal to see that and to have that memory stick out so much. Was that, that honestly has to be one of my favorite memories. I mean, next to my boot camp graduation, when you showed up with my Uncle Eddie down there out of Fort Leonard, that was cool too. So now I got one other question to ask you in regards to you and Grandpa Keeney. What is the one time that stands out in your mind where you thought you were dead man walking, where you thought you were literally going to be skinned alive with him? I know, embarrassing moments right here.
No, it's not embarrassing. I can tell you, and I deserved it. But I was working on a Briggs & Stratton motor, getting ready to put in my go-kart that I had built, right?
Okay.
And my brother started getting in the way and doing things. And I finally got so angry that I threw a hammer at him.
Oh.
How
old were you at the time?
13.
Okay.
But I didn't hit him with it. But
so we're talking like early 50s here.
Oh, yeah. Real early 50s. And I just knew because Mom caught me. And she didn't say anything. She just told me, she says, all right, you go in there, stay in your room. And when your daddy gets home, I'll tell him and let him take care of it.
Oh, no.
So about 4 hours I spent in that room, my bedroom.
Upstairs.
Concerned, well, this before we even had the upstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dad hadn't finished the upstairs yet. We were still downstairs. And I sat in there and I thought about it and I thought about it. And I thought, Don, you've got to learn to control your temper. And anyhow, make a long story short, Dad got home, and Mom told him, and he come in and he told me to come out here in the kitchen and sit down in the chair. And he says, what do you have to say for you? I said, Dad, I was stupid. I'd done a dumb thing, and I'm sorry. Dad says, that ain't getting it. Uh-oh. But that was the first time and the last time that I ever got a spanking.
Huh.
And my dad, you know what he spanked me with? Yes.
What?
A razor strap.
Oh, wow.
And
ow.
He only gave me about 3 or 4 whops, but I knew it. And I've never pulled anything like that since. That's the one time. That's when I finally learned that I better control my temper.
Right.
But there are some things going on today in this world that I can't control my temper anymore. But that's the way it goes.
Right. I thought honestly you were going to tell the story about you and Bob playing in the car in the farm. Oh,
you mean it? Oh, that was another one. That was a good one. But I never got in trouble over that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, if you didn't get in trouble over it, don't really count.
Well, we lived on a farm. The place we had was kind of on a hillside. The driveway was uphill. Okay. And the road went parallel below the house, right?
Right.
And right at the end of the driveway, there was a telephone. Well, I can't remember. I think it was about a 36? No, yeah, it was about a 36 or 38. 36. I'm pretty sure it was 36 Chevy sedan.
Oh, no.
And my brother and I got in there and we were playing around, and I'm sitting at the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And somehow he got kicked out of gear and the emergency brake got knocked off. Well, here we go down that driveway, and off the side of the driveway into that telephone pole.
Oh, no.
And there wasn't really any damage to it because we weren't going that fast or thing.
Well, that was back when they actually built cars, too.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, I just knew we were both dead.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea which one of us knocked the brake off, the handbrake off, or anything like that.
Right.
But one of us didn't. We were both there, and Dad didn't know which one of us to get after. But both of us, he knew both of us had enough. We were not going to pull anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, but Mom was busy.
I bet she was fit to be tied.
Well, But she looked up what she was doing. She was outside in the wash tub washing clothes.
Yeah.
And she looked up, and here we are going down the driveway and off the side of it. And she panicked more than she was angry. She was panicked.
Yeah.
And scared for us,
Right.
And anyhow, that's kind of the end of the story. But we didn't get in a lot of trouble for it. But we were really, it was a learning experience.
I believe it. So, real quick, just to keep things fair, I think the one time where I thought I was completely done, like my goose was cooked, life was over as I knew it, and that would have been when I was in high school, and I know you remember this quite distinctively, and me and my buddy JD got busted for quote-unquote skipping school.
Oh, yeah.
And we wound up getting picked up by Salem PD.
Yep, I remember going down to get you guys.
And you and Mom coming down to get me, and just and here's the thing about it is because I know those of us that folks that watch the show and everything else know that you get hot tempered.
Very.
And I've seen that hot temper flare up big time. But when you came in, I remember very distinctly, you came in and you did not say a peep at all. Mom did all the talking. She was just like, by the way, you're riding with me. Dad's driving your rig back, and we're going to the house. So I'm like, oh, crap. And I remember sitting there in the car, and Mom looked at me going, you know you messed up, right? I was like, yeah, I know. And she's just like, you know it's bad when your dad won't even talk, right? I was like, yeah. And I remember I'm sitting in the front seat of her car, and I look over in the rear view, and I see you right there, like right on damn near our rear bumper driving my rig, and I'm like, oh, crap. Oh, I'm dead. I'm so done. My life is over. Because I seriously thought when we got home, that was it. Where'd they go? Things were over. But no, I just lost my wheels for a while, and yeah, I put in a lot of hard labor around these parts.
Well, Justin, you've known me long enough to know, and everybody that knows me very well, if I clam up,
oh yeah,
and I don't say anything, and I kind of walk away a little bit, you better stay away.
yeah,
because
that was made abundantly clear that day.
Because I will blow up.
Oh,
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I thought I was done. I seriously thought I was dead at that point in time. But anyhow, Pops, again, it's been a pleasure, sir. Again, happy Father's Day to you.
Same to you, son, and you have a good one.
All right, that does it, everybody. We'll talk to y'all here later on next week.
Yeah, one more thing.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, JD, all of you, Justin, Josh, all of you. It's great to have you as sons, and you're all family, you know that.
Absolutely.
You too, John. So, anyhow, I just want to let you guys know that, and I'm all proud of you.
All righty. Well, thanks again, Pop. And that wraps up this week's edition of Pop's Takes right here on BB Nation Radio.
All right, and that wraps up that part. So, I know Pop's Takes was a little long this week, but you know what? It's Father's Day. There's nothing wrong with it. So, anyhow, moving things right along into our next segment with your news update.
Real quick,
actually, hold on. We've
Yeah.
got to pause on that.
Why?
There's a programming note.
What's the programming note?
look at the script.
And then...
Yeah.
What?
It's Father's Day, and your son is here, and would like to give you a Father's Day gift.
Oh.
Exactly. I have prepared a gift. Mariah, would you please hand him his gift? So that right there
What in the
is
hell?
hair and scalp moisturizer and shine.
And you read the back of it, and it says it's supposed to thicken hair.
Yes.
So whatever you do not rub that on your back.
It specifically says on the back, Jamaican black castor oil makes your hair look fuller and shinier. It conditions and moisturizes the hair and scalp.
Why do you think Mariah was so keen on
Are you
cutting
guys
your hair
like?
this morning?
Are you guys like trying to tell me something here?
No, I'm just getting you a nice son to father gift for Father's Day. I think you might enjoy it.
Remember this, intern.
And
I have thought this one through.
you
Trust
can
me.
take your hat off and show it's okay because you got a haircut this morning too.
Regular high and tight is all it is. I mean, nothing special to see here.
Well, hey, shine it on up. Let's see how it works.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I will go ahead and put that right up there. Anyhow.
Hey, intern. I think you need to help him out with a little bit.
No, not right now. Not during the show. We got a show we got to get on with.
Happy
So,
Father's Day.
thank you. Appreciate it. Anyhow, even your mom's going, say thank you, Jada. If nobody would have told not, oh my God. Anyhow,
Now moving right along.
now we're moving right along. All right, this is actually a follow-up story to one that we covered here a while back, and this one is brought to us once again by our friends over American Military News. In a crazy turn of events, U.S. Navy won't reinstate Captain Crozier as commander of carrier of the USS Teddy Roosevelt. Secretary of Navy Kenneth J. Braithwaite, however you pronounce it, and Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Mike Gilday have released the findings of their investigation into the firing of USS Teddy Roosevelt Commander Captain Brett Crozier, which concluded that the firing was justified. After nearly 2 months, the broad investigation launched on April 29th concluded that Captain Crozier should not be reinstated due to quote-unquote poor decisions made in response to the coronavirus outbreak aboard the USS Teddy Roosevelt. I will not reinstate Captain Brett Crozier as commander of the USS Teddy Roosevelt, Admiral Gilday announced on Friday, nor will he be eligible for future command. Crozier was fired from his command of the aircraft carrier on April 2nd after a letter to his chain of command pleading for help to contain the coronavirus outbreak aboard the carrier had leaked to the media days earlier. Braithwaite and Gilday also decided that Crozier's direct supervisor, Rear Admiral Stuart Baker, will also be held accountable for his response to the ship's coronavirus outbreak, and his promotion to two-star admiral will be delayed. Upon the results of a preliminary investigation, Gilday had recommended Crozier's reinstatement on April 24th. On Friday, however, Gilday said the broader investigation revealed additional details that changed his decision. The much broader, deeper investigation we conducted in the weeks following had a much deeper scope, Gilday said. Had I known then what I know today, I would have not made the recommendation to reinstate Captain Crozier. Moreover, if Captain Crozier was still in command today, I would be relieving him. Gilday said Crozier and Baker did not do enough soon enough to fulfill their primary obligation and failed to carry out the Navy's guidelines for preventing the spread of coronavirus. Crozier may have increased the spread of the virus aboard the ship when he released sailors from quarantine too soon, Gilday noted. Gilday added that the email Crozier sent to his chain of command was unnecessary as the Navy was already securing quarters on land in Guam to quarantine sailors before Crozier's letter was ever sent. More than 2,400 beds were allocated for quarantine sailors within a week, and far above the 1,000 initially requested. Further, Crozier put the comfort of the crew above their safety by improperly following quarantine guidelines, Gilday said. The Navy had opened the broad investigation nearly 2 months ago when the acting Navy Secretary James McPherson announced on April 29th, citing unanswered questions he was left with following Gilday's preliminary inquiry. The deeper investigation also spurred by Secretary of Defense Mark Esper's request of a written report before he could decide whether or not to reinstate Crozier. Also on Friday, Chief Pentagon spokesman Jonathan Hoffman said that Esper supported the investigation and its findings. The Secretary of the Navy briefed Secretary Esper earlier today on the findings of the investigation into the USS Teddy Roosevelt COVID response. Secretary Esper believes the investigation to have been thorough and fair and supports the Navy's decisions based on their findings. We are proud of the crew of the USS Teddy Roosevelt, and I'm glad that they are back at sea in the Western Pacific projecting American power, Hoffman said. End of article. I call shenanigans.
It does seem kind of odd because if memory serves, he was sitting there asking for help.
Yes.
And then wrote his letter, and then all of a sudden action started happening.
Yes.
And they, at the same time, kicked him off command.
Exactly.
So I mean, okay, was writing the letter right? Okay, maybe not. But he needed help, and
Was not getting help.
He felt he had reached every, gone to every avenue that he could.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, I'm just taking away what I can from what I've read.
Right.
Maybe there was a better avenue than writing a letter, so publicly and all of that. And I'm guessing that's what they're so pissed off about. It'd be just like if I went out and published something, about Backwoods veterans, and because I couldn't, get you and John to agree with me on something or whatever, and instead I just went out and wrote it to all the fans and said something outrageous or whatever that was
Right.
against what we had agreed on. It'd be a problem, right?
Absolutely.
So from that aspect, I do understand the Navy's position. It's sad considering what all is going on, though, and all that. Now, I would have thought that there would be, maybe some more empathy for the situation he was in.
Right.
But command is command, and if you can't follow the chain and you're going outside of that or whatever, then maybe they're right.
Right. I mean, I understand that, but to me, this seems a lot more political than what it does anything else. And that's the thing, is that
Do you think command isn't political?
well, it shouldn't be when it comes to our military. However,
it is.
no, absolutely. Once you reach a certain point, once you put that bird on, technically you're a politician at that point in time. That's exactly what it becomes. Once you get anything above an 05, you might as well just consider yourself a low-grade politician. Unfortunately.
Actually, all politicians can go ahead and consider themselves low-grade politicians. To be fair.
To be fair. So, but seriously though, I mean, this honestly sounds like, at least in my opinion, this sounds to me like a guy who, and commander who, honest to God, was trying to take care of his sailors and take care of the people on that ship. And apparently some folks up higher did not very much approve of it. And they wound up canning him because of it, which is sad, because especially when you have, the commander of a ship like that with that many sailors under his command, and he has that high of a rapport with his crew, what does that tell you? That tells you is nothing bad that was really going on with the crew. It really doesn't. It tells you that you have a high morale on an operating, on a warship of that magnitude. And then because somebody on Capitol Hill didn't like the way things were being ran, they freaking canned him for it. And here's another question. When did McPherson get relieved as acting Secretary of the Navy? When did that happen?
I don't know.
Because I had never heard of this guy until this article. This Brightweight or whatever his name is. It's just like, wait, what? And Gilday, I've read and seen stories with his name attached to him before, and he is a total freaking, he's a clown. He's another freaking Colonel Vindman or whatever the guy's name is that was on the quote-unquote intelligence committee during the whole impeachment process. He's another guy just like that. That'll freaking flip somebody over. Doesn't matter where in the chain of command is, just as long as he gets up higher.
Yeah.
It makes him look good. He's one of those guys. So I don't trust a word that guy says as far as I can throw him. So, but anyhow, so that's it for that story. And we're going to go ahead and try and move things right along since we're getting a little short on time with our next segment known as Dummy of the Week. Hit it, good sir.
I'll spell it for you. D-U-M-M-Y. Shut up, dummy. You big dummy. For every man, there's a woman. And for every dummy, there's a dummy. Dummy.
And now, your Dummy of the Week on BB Nation Radio.
All right, for your Dummy of the Week this week, the title is Man Pees on Child's Memorial Gets Fired by Own Father.
Oops.
And I do apologize. It's an older story, but I didn't want to do anything with the protest or anything like that. So this one's kind of just someone did something really stupid. So moving on.
That's why it's Dummy of the Week.
A New Jersey man who was filmed grinning as he urinated on a memorial of a dead child was fired by his boss, who happens to be his father. Brian Balance, 23, was wearing a t-shirt with the Bruce Balance Plumbing and Heating logo as he peed on the memorial to a 9-year-old Christopher Clope in the Mays Landing playground place after placing a beer can on the ground. I had to remove him from employment, Bruce Balance tells the press of Atlantic City. We apologize to the family. I am sorry for his actions. I am not proud of him. He says he has received at least a dozen phone calls of people outraged by his son's behavior. Ultimately, it's my fault, he says. Maybe we didn't teach him right. Balance, 23, was arrested Sunday for offenses including lewdness and disorderly conduct. He apologized Monday, telling ABC he had made a huge mistake and was so drunk he didn't know what he was doing. Christian Clope died from a brain tumor in 2012. His father, Mark Clope, tells Fox that he was initially furious, but Brian Balance has personally apologized and he has forgiven him. With all the craziness in the world, I thought it was a teaching moment, and instead of reacting with violence and negativity, a lot can be accomplished by using some intelligence. The retired police officer says. CBS News reported that residents who saw the video immediately went to the playground to clean up the area.
Hey, that's a pretty dang good reaction, you know. I mean, somebody's pissing on your son's grave.
Right.
That's pretty dreadful. You know, that's pretty emotionally dreadful.
It's gotta be.
And
especially when it's your kid.
For him to take such a high ground,
that you gotta,
especially in today's age of this is what I believe, so give me what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Attitude. Dude, hats off to you, man. Hat is off to you.
Very much agreed.
It takes a big person to be able to step up and apologize to somebody for something that you didn't actually do, but you feel like you had control of it in a way.
Yeah.
And not to just go off and react negatively or violently or anything.
Well, it's good to see some people doing something that you don't see very often of anymore when it comes to stuff out in the news. And that's accepting and taking responsibility for their own actions.
Yes.
Hey, how about that?
That is an amazing thing to see, and we need to see more of it out there, I think.
Yeah, people actually stepped up to the plate and took responsibility for their own stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might actually get somewhere in life.
Yep.
And we might actually be able to progress as a society.
Yeah.
And not have stupid things happen like, one person jack it up for everybody else out there.
Yep.
Which you see way too often anymore.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there are stupid individuals out there. There is a lot of stupid individuals.
Oh my God, there's a lot.
There are a few stupid groups, but there are more stupid individuals, and that's really what it all breaks down to.
Can confirm. So, anyhow, all right. Well, that brings us up to about 5 minutes left in the show. Excuse me. And I want to thank all you guys all for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to go around the room one more time before we wrap this up. So, Mariah, we'll go ahead and start with you.
First of all, I want to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day. And I hope you guys all had a great day, whether you got to see your kids or not. You're the father.
Who is your daddy? And what does he do?
And happy Father's Day to my amazing dad, who I know is watching and everything. So, other than that, it's getting to be nice weather outside, so take care of yourself.
Wait. Before you go on any farther, before you say any more, Josh, hit it. Hit it.
Huh?
Hit it.
Which one?
And
what do we always do at the end of the show?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Here we go. Wait for it. Now you can go ahead and continue.
Thank you. If you're outside and everything with the nice weather and everything, make sure you're wearing some type of sunblock or protective clothing or something so you're not getting burned. And other than that...
Are you going to take your own advice?
I have been. Thank you.
She's actually been doing pretty good about it for once.
And
Been doing your stretches?
yes.
Yes, she has.
Make sure you buy raffle tickets because you only got 6 days left.
Go get 'em.
Josh, on to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody, have a great week out there. You know, don't get too down by Fear Brown's stupid rules and regulations and whatnot. Don't ask me how you can link Hood River County and the Tri-Metro counties together. That doesn't make any sense.
It's like wiping before you poop.
Hood River and Wasco County maybe, but anyways, yeah. You know, things hopefully will get back to normal. It might not be till after the elections, but you know, we'll find some sort of normalcy out of this whole thing. So, yeah, definitely you know, get out of the house and you know, get something done. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, and enjoy the outdoors. And send pictures.
Yes.
Let us know what you're doing.
Please do.
Let us know what you're doing. bwveterans@gmail.com. Send us pictures of some of the activities you've been out doing, and we'll post them up on our page.
Yeah, we'll put them up on the page. Hell, we might even throw a couple out during the outdoor portion of the show. You never know.
You never know.
Never know. So, and who knows? It might get some a little bit special if you wind up showing off those pictures in some of your swag.
That depends what kind of picture. Oh, yeah.
Hi-yo.
Yeah.
Anyhow, moving right along. Ray, what do you got for final thoughts?
Pretty much the same as always. Don't be stupid. And I remembered my senior quote, idiocracy.
Stop hurting me.
Yeah, that. Idiocracy is the consistency of stupidity. So just don't be dumb and enjoy your week and have fun with your families. It's a weird world out there today, and right now family is what you got.
Here. Wise words from a young man. Very nice. So, all right, guys, like these guys all said, be sure to head over to ericsarmory.com. Go pick up your G4S rifle raffle tickets, helping out our friends over at the Fallen Outdoors. $15 a piece. Get them while you can. The drawing will be held live next weekend, Saturday, June 27th. As soon as we have the time for that coming up, we will get that posted and share it out there so that you guys know. And that will be broadcasted live here on our YouTube channel as well as from our Facebook page or there at facebook.com/backwoodsvets. And again, thank you guys all for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate it. And a big shout out once again to our friends and sponsors up at Eric's Armory and ericsarmory.com. I will talk to you guys on Tuesday for the Fence Line Country over there on the Spreaker app. And I will talk to you guys then. In the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Much love to you. And have a great week. Love y'all. We out. Turn off that damn music.
This has been another episode of BB Nation Radio here on Backwoods Veterans Media.